In this exercise, we will cut the reference into pieces and draw each piece separately over the next 9 videos. This method helps identify mistakes and improve skills in shading and proportion. Following this series, I will take these pieces and show you how I use them as building blocks to create new expressive works. Grab this reference from the description below and let's get started. In this piece of the puzzle, it would be handy if I could just use this graphite as the background, because this is very erasable, this graphite powder that I am using from my little sanded block. I want to erase the strands of hairs in later on, but because the background is coming down a couple of notches from the levels here, like I guess you would say they increase in value when we're looking at the density of dark, I'm going to just bring my PanPastel in and maybe sacrifice a little bit on the complete brightness. But first I'll just add the black in the corner right here, looking at the proportions of that little bit of hair that we've got showing the shape of the head. I'm just trying to get it to the right size and match the size of the head to the reference as closely as I can. Also matching these stray hairs, because once I place the piece into the puzzle, it'll be quite fun to see if you actually manage to bridge these stray hairs across different pieces of the puzzle as well. Now I'm going in with the darker shades of grey in the background using my soft tool. And this tone here looks about right to me. I'm just going to use this soft tool to block in some of the direction of the chunks of hair. There's some tufts of hair, and I'm just going to block it in roughly where these movements are going to be, to give me a kind of an outline where I want to come in and start erasing a bit more and bringing those finer strands of hair in later on. When I use this soft tool with the PanPastel, I'm finding I can't completely erase into as bright as I might like to, but this is what I'm working with here, and I think it's good enough for what I'm looking after. So I will be erasing into this dark background here to bring in those strands of hair catching light. So it's time for my Tombow Mono Zero eraser, and I'm just again looking. I'm just gonna take a little bit of the tip off to get a nice clean piece of eraser. So I'm just going to really try to match these fine hairs as closely as I can. This is very satisfying to me to finally get the chance to do these tiny hairs. That is something that sometimes awakens a little bit of a hyper-realist in me when I see people drawing very fine strands of hair in on a hyper-real piece, and they are just using a Tombow Mono Zero eraser and getting these super fine little highlights coming across. It's so satisfying. So now it's time to indulge that part of me a little bit. I definitely can relate to the urge of wanting to draw hyperreal, but the trouble is the result of it I find maybe less interesting than if there's been an element of interpretation, an element of expression. So this is all just laying the basis for the foundation of becoming more enabled and equipped to draw expressively. But I really think that we need to not ignore just learning all of the aspects of drawing in order to really get that expressive work to level up, to boost the abilities when it comes to really expressing myself as well. So this is what I'm doing here, just engaging in the fundamentals of drawing to just really level up so I can better express myself as well. And just need to work the background in. It does lighten up here towards the bottom of the piece in the background, and I use the brush to just smooth that out a little bit. Here I'm using the kneaded eraser just to bring up a few highlights. And now back to the Tombow Mono Zero eraser for these tiny strands of hair, indulging the desire to draw hair. Now that this challenge is coming to an end, if you've been following them in the order that I laid out, this will be one of the final pieces in your puzzle. And I just want to say that it would be so fun if you would share your result on my community. I would really enjoy seeing what you've got, and here if it was a useful experiment to do this challenge. I've got some ideas of how I want to use this challenge to create some drawing tutorials in expressive drawing as well. So I'm planning and working on the following session, which will be a drawing session using some of the pieces of this puzzle. And I've got more ideas as well coming after that, because I think these pieces would also do really fantastic in a collage. So I'm planning to show you how I will do some of all of these exercises as a follow-on of this drawing puzzle, and I hope you would take part in those as well. But really, if you did do this challenge and you're now here at this stage, I would really encourage you to share your result on my community. And it would just be inspiring for everybody to see what you've gotten out of it. And also, it's just interesting to see how different results everybody can get out of doing the same exercise. But I'm just keeping on going here with the little hairs in this area here. They're kind of moving in all sorts of directions, and I'm just trying to get a little bit of that slightly chaotic feeling and create the illusion of this really being hair catching sunlight. And I see a few darker marks in the bright here to just emphasizing that movement of hair crossing over hairs, creating these patterns of crossing over each other. But I think that this piece is starting to look like it would probably fit in all right. So that's the point where I normally bring out my darkest tools right at the end of a drawing session. I'll bring up my pastel pencil, and the pastel pencil will just help me deepen the really dark parts of the picture and just getting that highest level of black into the value. I normally go over it with the pastel pencil, and then I'll just smooth out what I've drawn in with a finger. Just create a velvety black finish. I can also use this pastel pencil to get some of those hairs a little bit more prominent, where they silhouette against the bright white in the background. This is also very satisfying, just as it's satisfying to do those brightest whites. I find the darkest blacks also extremely satisfying to put in place. Just a few more highlights in the darkest zones there, which are not completely bright white, but I just jot them in with the Tombow Mono Zero and just checking if there's any little tweaks here to add in before I'm going to see the piece in the bigger picture. And I want to encourage you as well to stay tuned for the last piece of the puzzle. That's going to be the face, and that is going to be a longer session. But once that's done, I'm going to put the whole puzzle together in a final reveal in piece 9, in part 9. And I hope you will stay with me till the end of this challenge, and that you'll have some experiences of just how much this can really improve your skill in identifying and drawing value, and just also working on proportions in a more manageable way, because it's a bite-sized way of working. I feel like that I just need to darken the background a little bit more, and I'll bring in some of the little marks that I lost there. And finally, I just use my kneaded eraser to lift off some of the fragments of eraser that my little Tombow Mono Zero has left in the picture. And I think it's time to check this piece within the big picture. So I'm going to get rid of the tape now. Carefully. I'm gonna fit this piece that I've drawn into the actual photograph to see how well it holds up against the shade in the picture that I was trying to recreate. And I think this looks pretty good. That's it for today's exercise. I hope you will come back and join me for the next pieces of this puzzle. If you like this content, don't forget to press subscribe. I'm always thinking of new ideas in order to improve my drawing skills, and I would love to share those with you, so I will if you come back for more. If you stayed here with me to the end, I would love to hear from you what you thought of this exercise. If you enjoyed it, thanks for watching. Take care. Bye.